Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Curtis with Show Up Lifestyle. Today, I want to talk about wage slaves and what to do now. Right now is a very unique time in our lives, and we haven't seen anything like this. Our generation hasn't seen anything like this. The last time something like this happened was 1918, which was the Spanish flu, and this is something similar but a lot different. And what I want to say is what I've been saying for a long time, and now it's more important than ever. A lot of people right now are losing their jobs. A lot of people are, if not already, are going to go through a financial crisis. And, a lot of people are thinking, what should I do? And, I'm not an expert on finances. I'm not an expert on economics. And frankly, no one is an expert on what is happening in the world right now. And nobody can really tell you what's going to to happen after, this whole thing has calmed down. But what I do see is a huge financial crisis, a huge debt crisis. And that's kind of what it's leaning towards. And, I wouldn't say take this information to heart, but I would really consider it. And, what I would say is, find other people who are going to be losing their jobs, who are going to be in need of a crisis, you know, keep all the money you can keep. And what I would suggest is, if you have family members that you can, share a house with, because I mean, that's what it's basically going to come down to is a lot of people, you're going to probably see a lot of people in two-bedroom homes or apartments with, six, eight people living in it, and these are times where that's just what it's going to have to be. And I would say, if you're renting and you can't afford to rent, start thinking about, you know, who you can live with, who you can, you know, go to. And, maybe they're having financial problems too. And, to be able to share those financial problems together, you know, two incomes are going to be better than one, four incomes are going to be better than one. So if you have, multiple people living in one home, to share that impact that this financial crisis is going to have on people, that's really something you should consider. And on top of that, I mean, a lot of people are going to be filing bankruptcy. If you have a car that you can sell, sell whatever you can to be able to survive, because that's basically what it's coming down to. And, I always talk about, keeping your expenses low. That's your rent, that's your car payments, insurance. A lot of people aren't going to be able to afford that. And, if you can cut that down right now, and, you might have to, mess up your credit by moving out of your apartment and moving in with a family member. But, the world is in so much debt right now. You know, it's going to be a debt crisis. If you think about it, $500 billion that's being printed to help the situation that's going out on right now. And a lot of that money isn't coming back to the taxpayers. A lot of that money isn't coming back to the people who need it. They're doing these $1,000 checks to everybody in America who needs it. But, I live in California, and $1,000 is, not going to pay the rent unless if you're, already living, roommates. Roommates. That's who's paying $1,000 a month here in California. In other states, it might be able to pay your rent, but that's about it. And if this thing goes on for longer than the 3 weeks that they're saying, and it goes on for months, I don't know if they're gonna keep giving those $1,000 checks every month, but $1,000 isn't gonna cover that 3 months. So you really have to let your money stretch out as long as you can, and desperate times calls for desperate measures. Um, but this $500 billion that they're printing, it's not coming back to the people. Who they're trying to bail out is hotels and airplanes, and I'm not gonna drop any names, but who owns the largest hotels? Who owns the largest hotels? If you guys don't know about our president, you should look in to what the president owns. And they call it the invisible enemy. Something to where it doesn't show signs for 14 days while we're in a flu season. And the Federal Reserve now has the go-to um, print infinite amounts of money, which I don't really know if they're printing the money, because now everything is digital. So the banks don't have this money. They have digital signs. And it's funny because people talk about how Bitcoin and all this stuff has no value, but what they don't understand is that the dollar has no value. When you print $500 billion and you give the Federal Reserves the go to print as much money as they need to get us through this, the value of the dollar is going to go down and down and down. So, you know, all we're working for now is debt. People are just going to be working for debt. And when you have that much debt in the country, you don't own anything. The Federal Reserve, because they printed out trillions of dollars, they own America. They bought America. They bought Europe. They bought China. The Federal Reserves own the world. And you talk about digital assets, and people are like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all this stuff there's no value to it because it's digital. It's not tangible goods. But you look at the dollar and you look at the banking system. When you go into the bank, if you have money there, all the money that's into the bank, they couldn't pay everyone. If everyone took out all their money, they can't pay everyone because the banks don't have that much money. So what happens is you get a digital sign on the ATM teller on their computer system that says you have this much money available to you. But in reality, they don't have that money in there. So money is becoming a digital asset. You use your card most of the time. Nobody uses cash as often. So you have a card that transfers these digital assets to stores and companies and to other people. So everything is done digitally anyways. So we live in a digital world. Money is now digital. So this money that they're printing, they don't have to print the money. All they have to do is change the zeros that are at the end of the commas inside of that computer screen. So, to get back to what should you do? I wouldn't focus, if you have money to invest, I wouldn't focus on investing right now. I think the market's going to keep going lower and lower. I think it will rise back up again, so there will be times where you will be able to invest. But right now, I think you should, get your expenses as low as possible. If you can move in with a family member, if you can, connect with a friend that you know very well, and you guys can, get through this together, because right now is the time where you gotta have a community and build people and come together and support each other, because you know it was already taking two members of the household to work to be able to live paycheck to paycheck. So now you're going to get into a time where it's going to take multiple families, you know, two household incomes combined into one in order to support that lifestyle. So we're going to have to learn to be more patient, more calm through these times, so that, hopefully, if you provide two family incomes into one household, you will be able to save money and get through this whole recession. And what I would suggest is, start doing that now. If you can get rid of your car, if you can get rid of the insurance payments, if you can get rid of, your cable bill, whatever bills aren't necessary, you should try to get rid of it. Instead of cable, you know, which might be $60 a month, $100 a month, go invest $20 in books. Go online and get some ebooks. Um, and right now is the time to educate yourself. You know, look into history, look into similar recessions, look into the Great Depression, and start figuring out things and similarities and patterns that have happened in the past, so that you can predict the future, so that you know where to invest your time and energy. Start finding those jobs that are available to you. There's going to be a lot of people taking pay cuts to get jobs, and the job market is going to be inflated, and a lot of people are going to be fighting over jobs that don't require a degree, minimum wage jobs, and people with degrees are going to be going after those jobs. So start figuring out your game plan. And what I suggest to do right now is start meditating and start reading, start exercising, start eating as healthy as you can. you know right now is the best time to clear your mind. you know Try to stay away from the news. If it's real news, it'll get to you. Somebody will call you, somebody will tell you this is going on. You don't have to pay so much attention to the news. And, take this time to meditate. Take this time to learn. You know, Everybody's out of work for 3 weeks. Take those 3 weeks to start learning skills. Think about what skills will be great for the marketplace, and start learning that skill. Pick up a book and read. Learn something. Learn and meditate. That's what's gonna help you go further once the recession is over. You're gonna have to take a hit and bounce back up. And the more you read and meditate and empower your mind, the better equipped you're going to be to fight this recession, because that's going to be the real fight. This is going to pass. The flu season passes. People, there's going to be deaths, there's going to be flus, there's going to be sickness, there's going to be illness. But the longest lasting thing is going to be the recession. It's going to be the financial crisis, the debt crisis, and this is what you need to prepare for. You know, we're all pretty much in quarantine, so that's the best we can do as far as to fight that right now. But what we really need to do is, start developing skills. These 3 weeks that we have, start going on the internet, start researching, start reading whatever you can, and meditate, because it's very important that we learn how to be patient, we learn how to be calm. And if it gets to the point where, two households are going to have to combine to one to be able to afford living and to have shelter and have the necessities in life, then patience and being calm is going to be very helpful. You know, if you can get if you have kids, get them to start meditating with you, family members to start meditating with you, and to start, being able to live in these hard times with other people so that you can, relax your mind, and not be chaotic when you're living with so many people. Because this is probably what's going to happen. They're opening shelters, they're opening the hotels to provide a place to stay for the homeless. And people are going to be shacked up with each other. And, it's going to be very important to be able to be patient, be calm, give people their space so they can think, um, and to not panic and to not worry and to not stress, because these things, panic, worry, and stress weaken the immune system. So when you weaken the immune system, you're going to be more susceptible to these viruses that we're fighting right now. So right now is the time to meditate, read, educate yourself, cut your expenses as low as you can, and try to save money so you can bounce back from this recession. I hope this was helpful, you guys. Um, I'm no expert, but it's always a good idea to cut your expenses and to save money. And right now, it's going to be very hard to do that. And, we're going to have to take extreme measures in order to do that. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. This is just my thought on how to prepare for this whole recession thing. Make sure you guys meditate. Make sure you guys exercise. Make sure you guys educate and eat healthy as possible. I hope the best for everyone watching this and the people who are not watching this. I just wish the best for the whole world right now. Thank you guys very much.